So hi, Katie here. Today I want to talk about transphobia in the beauty pageant world, and also the fact that Jessica Yaniv, obviously a controversial figure, has actually decided to take one of the beauty pageant organisers, Galaxy Pageants, to court because they excluded her for being trans. So, I mean, have a sip of water. So yeah, as I said, Jessica Yaniv, obviously a controversial figure, who's come in for a lot of criticism from a lot of different types of people, and she's also kind of reached the attention of Donald Trump Jr., who made a really snide remark about the way that she looks, and that's also one of a number of remarks about Jessica Yaniv's looks as well, which is, I mean, there really is no excuse for that as far as I'm concerned, because it's not only transphobic, but it's misogynistic, because people who are making remarks about Jessica Yaniv's looks are actually buying into patriarchal definitions of feminine beauty, and which are obviously rooted in sexism. So now this isn't the first time that this particular pageant company, Galaxy Pageants, has been accused of transphobia and has actually prevented a trans woman from taking part in their competition. Back in 2016, a young trans woman from the UK called Josie Yendle applied to participate in Galaxy Pageants in the UK, and she actually got through to the semi-finals. But when the organisers found out she was trans, when Galaxy Pageant UK found out she was trans, they disqualified her, because their rule is that trans people, trans women and girls aren't allowed in their pageant. So, I mean, Josie, it actually attracted a lot of attention at the time. Josie Yendle was actually appeared on GMTV, as this clip here shows, and here she tells the story much better than I could of what happened.
So Josie joins us now this morning, as you can see. So how did you find out then? Because you'd been picked for the final, and then they said, oh no.
Well, what happened was I applied for the pageant. I told them from the beginning that I was transgender. It was the first thing that I put on the application. I got selected to be a finalist, which I was really, really pleased at. I messaged them just before I went to pay my deposit, you know, and I said to them, you know, thank you so much, you know, having a transgender person in, it's going to be really good for your organisation, you know, you're moving forward with things. But then I got an email back saying that they'd overlooked the fact that I was transgender and that I was no longer eligible to compete because I wasn't born female. So my answer to that is I can't help how I was born.
No, you can't. And equally, you had been very upfront and you put it down in your form and you'd been accepted. So it was a clerical error, isn't it? They hadn't really paid that much attention or noticed. How did you feel, though, when they told you that, Josie?
Disappointed. I was very disappointed, let down. That's how I felt. I just thought it was a shame for them as well, because I do think that they are a good organisation. They do raise a lot of money for charity. But I did personally feel very let down by them.
So what do you think they're worried about then? Why are they worried about having a transgender? What's their concern and fear about it?
What they're saying is it's the rules. And the rules are coming from the international pageant, because it's an international pageant, so their rules come from America.
Yeah, the statement they've given us is the organisers, Miss Galaxy Pageants, say that their rules are in line with other major pageants, such as Miss World, Miss Earth, Miss International. That said, it's something that we want to make positive for everyone involved. Consequently, this matter we have raised with the CEO of Galaxy Pageants. So it's clearly something that's never come up before, and they now want to address and try and find a way around it. But it seems like it could have been a great opportunity for them to say, there's no reason why you couldn't come in. We perfectly are willing to accept you in before we realised that you were transgender.
Well, totally.
Do you think they're worried about other contestants saying, hang on, it's not fair? I mean, what kind of support have you had from other people entering? Do they mind, if you like?
My answer to that is I think if other contestants had a problem with a transgender person, that's their ignorance, and should they really be in a pageant?
Had you met any other
No,
contestants?
not in this pageant.
So it never got to the point where you met them? Have you tried other pageants before?
Yes, last year I was in the Miss Transgender pageant. It was the first time in this country that there was a pageant for transgender people. My reason for doing the Miss Transgender pageant was because, you know, as a transgender woman, we are marginalised. We're not allowed into the mainstream pageant. So that was my sort of...
Your starting
It was a step in... It was, yeah, it was like my little step. Well, still had to win the door.
Well, look, I mean, let's hope that when they sit down, they try and come to a conclusion which will allow you to enter into a pageant in future.
Hopefully. Like, I just think the thing is, the rule's just there, and it's never really been questioned. It's never been challenged. In the rule states, you must be born female. So, you know, the way you look at it, a transgender man could enter because he was born female. So the rule just needs changing.
Right.
There's other rules in the pageant that do need addressed as well. Like, you can be married, but it's only to a man. Okay. It's just not.
You need to update it.
Yeah, it's just not in line with the modern world. That's all.
Well, good luck.
Yes.
Thank
Josie,
you.
lovely to meet you this morning. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
So yeah, they basically I think they were really mean towards Josie Yendle, and also as well, Josie actually started a petition to asking for Galaxy Pageants to allow trans women and girls to take part in their competition, and that petition actually reached 11,000 signatures. So it was quite successful, and but Galaxy Pageant still don't allow trans people to participate in their competitions. So their excuse for excluding Jessica is actually that they said that they include trans women are allowed in their competitions, but because Jessica has not fully transitioned, because she hasn't had sex reassignment surgery, then they don't allow trans women who haven't had sex reassignment surgery to take part in the competition. Which is actually, and that's not true as well, because they actually ban trans women who have had sex reassignment surgery from their competition as well, because I've got notes here actually to sort of keep me focused on what I'm saying, because I'm rubbish at this. Yeah, I mean, Galaxy UK's terms and conditions read that all entrants must be quote-unquote legally female, and that is actually that actually excludes most trans people in the UK, most trans women in the UK, and all trans girls under the age of 18, because you have to have a gender recognition certificate in the UK to be legally female, and only, I think, something like about 5% of trans women and trans people altogether actually have a gender recognition certificate. So, for instance, you can have gender reassignment surgery, you know, and you don't have male anatomy anymore, or kind of sort of a penis and, you know, testicles, whatever. So but you'd still be excluded if you didn't have a gender recognition certificate, because you'd still be classed as legally male, even though you have had all the surgery you possibly can to be like any other, you know, like a cis woman. So yeah, and that's actually illegal as well in the UK to exclude trans people from positions and competitions and offers as well, because if they're on the grounds that they haven't had gender reassignment surgery, or they don't hold a gender recognition certificate. So Galaxy UK are breaking the law still there. I mean, what it actually used to say before was that all entrants must be natural born women, and a few trans people back about 2 years ago, myself included, actually kicked up a bit of a stink about this. And we posted bad reviews on the Galaxy UK Facebook page, just saying, you know, this is transphobic and you can't exclude trans women from this event because it's against the Equality Act 2010. And it's also under the gender recognition certificate. It's also, you know, illegal to actually ask to see somebody's gender recognition certificate to prove that they're legally female or male. So, I mean, even though Galaxy UK have changed the terminology from only natural born women need apply to only legally people who are legally female can apply, they're still violating the terms of the provisions of the 2010 Equality Act. So yeah, so I mean there's that as well. I mean Galaxy are I'm just looking at my notes here again. There was a bit of a backlash when I and a few other people actually sort of called Galaxy out on this, because there was a Pink News article about this, and my Facebook post, so one of my Facebook posts that I put on the Galaxy Facebook page was actually featured in the Pink News report, and this person in America, the CEO of Galaxy Pageants, saw my my post on their site and must have also seen the Pink News article as well, and she basically started to trash me. So yeah, which is pretty bad, and I'll get onto that later because I will actually read out to you what she actually said about me, which a lot of it is blatantly untrue, and I only actually found it today when I was researching for this video. So I don't do that much research, to be honest, but there we go. But yeah, to get back to that, I mean, yeah, I did get a lot of backlash from that, and I had a lot of transphobic abuse as well from people. I had unsolicited abuse from strangers all of a sudden, and also when I did apply to enter, well, I didn't want to enter a beauty pageant personally, but I just wanted to find out what they would say. I went to apply. I tried to apply to another beauty pageant online, which wasn't connected to Galaxy, and I sent them an email just asking them a question of, I'm a trans person who hasn't had gender reassignment surgery. Would I still be eligible to participate in your beauty pageant? And it took ages to get back to me, and then they sent me back a really kind of like quite a nasty email, really saying we're reconsidering our policy on excluding trans women, because we met a really nice trans woman at our last pageant and she was really fabulous and that kind of thing. But you know, that kind of patronising thing that they were saying. But then I just knew it then, and then they said, but in your case, you would not be allowed to join our pageant because to participate in our pageant because of the because we do not tolerate bullying and harassment, and you caused a lot of friction within the pageant world. So I thought, oh, that's strange. You know, I haven't caused that much friction because I was in the Pink News article, and I put a review on the Galaxy page, so I couldn't really understand why they were saying that. But anyway, I will get back to that. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I personally would never want to participate in a beauty pageant, because I actually find them, I think they're quite destructive, really. I don't really think they help women and girls in any way. They don't help us to, you know, they don't help to increase our self-esteem, because in a pageant there's always winners and losers, and most people are losers, and only one person gets the pageant crown. So I mean, I'm quite happy I'm not pageant material, really, because I just think it's really cruel, and the way that they market pageants these days as something that is all about female bonding and kind of mentoring from older women, and sort of, you know, helping girls maybe who are being bullied at school, so their parents put them in for a pageant contest to say, oh look, you're beautiful, see, you won the pageant contest. But it doesn't happen that way, because most girls don't win the pageant contest. And I suspect it's got an awful lot to do as well with the way that, you know, it's got an awful lot of other things to do with other factors other than that person and the way that they look. And I think as well, obviously beauty is subjective, you know. I mean, if you're going to base beauty on patriarchal gender norms of feminine beauty, well then you're just buying into the sexism and misogyny, really, in my opinion. But yeah, I'll get off my soapbox, because the main point of this is I think that people should be allowed to enter pageants if they so wish, and trans people, and that includes trans women and trans girls, and to exclude trans women and trans girls is the same to me as like maybe excluding me if I was cis, just maybe excluding me because I'm Jewish. So yeah, I really do take it that seriously. And yeah, so I mean, yeah, so to round things up, really, I think this time Jessica Yaniv is right. And I understand that she's controversial, I understand all that. And I mean, and also another thing about Galaxy Pageants as well was that until very recently, they, in the married section, in the Mrs. Galaxy competition, they excluded any gay women who were in same-sex relationships. And not only that, but they also excluded any cisgender heterosexual women who were married to trans men. And it specifically said this in the terms and conditions, at least of the USA pageant. And so that is pretty disgusting. And the CEO of Galaxy Pageants is claiming now, or claimed, that she is not transphobic. And it's all about, you know, health and safety, you know, and you know, and the safety of other women and stuff like that, and decency, inverted commas. But actually, if you're excluding cisgender heterosexual women who are married because they're married to trans men, then that is pretty darn transphobic, I would say. So yeah, so as I said, I hope Jessica wins her case. She's free to use any of the evidence that I have here to you know, to show that Galaxy actually are transphobic. I mean, so I've kind of messed my notes up a bit here, but yeah, I mean, beauty pageants do have a bad past. I mean, it wasn't so long ago, I mean, it was in living memory that black women were banned from beauty pageants, you know, back to like 1940 in the USA. I mean, women of colour were banned. It was only white women who were allowed beauty pageants. I mean, not this particular one, Galaxy Pageant, but beauty pageants in general. They have some really bad history. I'm pretty sure at some stage Jewish women were banned from beauty pageants as well. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of, as I say, it is really bad. And I mean, to this day as well, the Galaxy pageant criteria actually, if you're going to represent your country as a Miss Wales or a Miss England, whatever, or Miss America, you have to have 20% ethnic heritage of the country you represent. So, I mean, I don't know how they kind of work that out, I mean, it's just seems a bit racist to me, really. Single mothers are banned as well. You cannot have children, and and you cannot cohabit with somebody out of wedlock. So it really does seem like a nightmare version of 1950s bigoted small-town America. And some people want to import that to the UK and other countries. And please, I think we can do without that, because we're not Trump's UK. So yeah, how did the director of Galaxy Pageants react to criticism of transphobia in her, in her firm? Transphobia that she had actually kind of transphobic rules in her firm. Blah, I can't. I'm terrible at this. But I do have here her reply. So basically, she only shares part of my post. So this is dated 18th of January 2018 on the Galaxy Pageants page. And she says, this week I have received a couple of messages that I'm sharing. One was regarding Texas Belleza Latina, and part of the other message was sent regarding Galaxy. I only shared part of it because the person, and note, she doesn't call me a woman, because she can't quite bring herself to call me a woman, because she doesn't consider me to be a woman. And she doesn't consider me to be female, she doesn't consider me to be a girl. So, yeah, because the person goes on about UK Galaxy, makes inaccurate accusations, threats, and has been harassing my UK director. Well, that's actually a load of rubbish, and I have evidence to show it's a load of rubbish. So she goes on about the Spanish message that she received, and that was about a lady who was angry that they'd allowed a lesbian woman in the contest, and so the CEO of Galaxy Pageants is actually more polite to this cisgender woman, even though she's a homophobic bigot, than she is to me as a trans woman. So she doesn't even regard me as a woman, she refers to me as a person. So anyway, so I'll skip that bit. Yeah, so now for the one about how I don't allow transgender in Galaxy. Let's get one thing straight. I am not a damn homophobe, and I certainly don't have anything against the transgender community. But I'll be damned if you will bully yourself onto my stage. Let's do the hair flick then. So, I'm sorry, but currently our rules state that you must be a naturally born female. That's the rule, and I will not be changing it right now to make anyone feel quote-unquote accepted or equal. That is not my job. Well, I actually think it is your job, because you are the you are the CEO of Galaxy Pageants, and it's your decision whether or not trans women are allowed to participate in your pageants, and trans women and girls. Don't forget, we're talking about little kids here, and in the UK, no child, no transgender girl, no transgender female under the age of 18 has a GRC, so she's banned from your pageants anyway. But yeah, I digress. That is not my job. My job is to respect you and treat you like a human being. Well, actually, you're not actually doing that. You're doing the very opposite of it. I personally wouldn't even care sharing a dressing room with you. I don't care if you walk into the same restroom I'm in. Well, actually, that's none of your business. You know, I could object to her being in the same restroom as me, so, you know, that's, again, her cis privilege showing. But, and she puts this in capital letters, this but my priority is the 100% of young girls and women who enter my pageants and their parents! Exclamation mark. This is something I have discussed with them, and it is something they are just not currently comfortable with. Also, again in uppercase, this person accused me, again with a person, I'm not a woman, I'm a person. To her, she cannot bring herself to call me a woman. So again, she does not believe trans women are women. Or she doesn't believe I'm a woman, or she doesn't believe I'm a girl, she doesn't believe I'm female, she doesn't believe I'm a woman. So yeah, this is the nastiness of this person coming out. Accused me of not accepting gay women in same-sex marriages. For your information, Galaxy changed the Mrs. policy to accept women who are legally married to another woman. I am one of the only pageants at this level who has done this. Yeah, but she only did that after a few people had complained about it, you know, but she's decided to dig her heels in when it came to us trans girls, and just because she could see that, you know, people weren't supporting us as much. So, yeah, she could see the writing on the wall as well, because this is the time that Trump got in. And from what she's saying here, she kind of fits into the sort of Trump type of mindset as well, and the kind of like zeitgeist, this whole alt-right type of thing. I mean, she kind of concludes then, well, it's quite a long conclusion, this need for acceptance and forcing others to recognise certain people is getting out of hand. See? You know, that's a common thing with the alt-right. They say, oh, all this trans rights, all this gay rights, all this anti-racism is getting out of hand, you know. As soon as minority groups start calling out discrimination and oppression, it always happens. There is nothing, again in uppercase, wrong with us not accepting transgender at this time. Yes, there's everything wrong with you not accepting transgender people at any time, as sure as it was also racist about 200 years ago to enslave people because of the colour of their skin, or it was also anti-Semitic 85 years ago to go around murdering Jewish people like me. This could change in the future, just not right now. Well, actually, I don't live in the future. We don't live in the future, we live now. And we want change now, we don't want it in the future. That's no excuse. That's no excuse for your discrimination. And I'm sorry, but that is not discrimination either. Well, it so obviously flaming is. It really is, CEO of Galaxy Pageants. And then she, like the most insidious thing that she kind of like, the way that she tries to kind of excuse it then is by this. My Miss Belleza Latina system only accepts Latina women. Why? Because that's the rule. It was created for Hispanic women. Should Miss Black USA be forced to accept non-black women because someone feels it's unfair not to be open to everyone? Well, actually, having separate pageants for minority groups of women is not the same as a majority group of women excluding a minority group of women because they're trans. Do you know what I mean? There is no equivalent, and she shouldn't really have appropriated that argument, because that in itself is kind of trivializing racism. And then she concludes with, there are plenty of pageants for the transgender community. We don't force them to change their rules or change how they do things. Give us the same respect. I don't need a debate on here or nasty comments either. Just wanted to make it clear where we stand. So yeah, I mean, basically, they're saying just go back to where you belong. You don't belong here. It's the same old argument and the same old prejudice. So, and that's all I wanted to say really. Galaxy Pageants are transphobic. They really don't have a leg to stand on, you know, in this kind of context. So yeah, I do hope Jessica Yaniv wins the case. And, you know, this is one of those issues that, that Jessica Yaniv is right upon. And I hope people can see past the disagreements they have with her in the past, and you know, the controversial nature of, you know, the things that she's got involved in the past, to actually support her on this, because I think even though most trans women won't enter beauty pageants, and a lot of trans women like myself think beauty pageants are damaging, and there's a lot of cis women do as well, I do still think that trans women should have the right, trans women and girls should have the right to participate in beauty pageants, and you know, and we shouldn't judge them for that, and nobody has the right to be discriminated against because they are transgender. That's basically all I wanted to say really. So if anybody's got anything to add, or would like to comment on this, or if you have your own opinions about this, then please leave a comment down below. And thank you very much for hearing me out. And this is a rather long video. I didn't intend it to be this long, but I do appreciate you standing by me and actually watching the whole video, if you're still with me at this stage. And yeah, so I love you all, and cheerio, and take care.